Your eyes are leaking your personality right now, and you don't even know it. Your habits, the way you love, the way you fight, the way you think when no one's watching. It's all sitting right there, in plain sight, every time you look someone in the eye. Today, we're breaking down what your eyes, their color, their shape, even the little things you don't notice might reveal about who you really are. Now, before we dive in, quick disclaimer. This isn't hard science. There's no peer-reviewed study proving eye color determines your personality. Think of this more like astrology or palm reading, a fun lens for self-reflection built on centuries of folklore, pop psychology, and pattern spotting across cultures. So take it with a smile, not a diagnosis. Grab a mirror if you want to play along. Let's get into it. Brown eyes. Let's start with the most common eye color on Earth, brown. Roughly 70–80% of the world's population has brown eyes, ranging from deep, almost black tones to warm honey shades. Folklore says brown-eyed people are seen as grounded, reliable, the friend everyone calls first when something goes wrong, because they don't panic, they problem solve. There's a popular belief that brown-eyed people are more trustworthy in first impressions, which is actually backed by a few small psychology studies on facial perception, though researchers note it's likely because of the shape of the face associated with brown eyes, not the color itself. If you have dark brown eyes, folk wisdom pegs you as intense, loyal, and a little guarded until you trust someone. Light brown or honey eyes get associated with warmth, curiosity, and a more easygoing social style. Blue eyes. Blue eyes are the second most common and one of the most talked about traits in pop psychology. Only about 8–10% of the world has them, mostly concentrated in Northern and Eastern Europe. The stereotype? Blue-eyed people are seen as independent, a little reserved at first, but fiercely determined once they set a goal. Some pop science write-ups point to a small, often cited study suggesting blue-eyed people may have a slightly higher tolerance for pain and alcohol, though this research is thin and hasn't been widely replicated, so treat it as trivia, not fact. Ice blue eyes are often linked in folklore to a calm, calculating demeanor. Softer, grayish blue eyes get associated with sensitivity and daydreaming. Green eyes. The rarest natural eye color, green, shows up in only about 2% of people worldwide, most commonly in Northern and Central Europe. Because they're rare, green eyes have picked up a mystique. Folklore across cultures ties them to unpredictability, passion, and a strong independent streak. Green-eyed people are often described as the wild cards, creative, a little mysterious, hard to fully pin down. Some describe them as having magnetic charisma without even trying. Hazel eyes. Hazel is a chameleon of eye colors, a blend of brown, green, and gold that seems to shift depending on lighting and what you're wearing. Popular belief says that mirrors the personality. Two hazel-eyed people are described as adaptable, spontaneous, and a little unpredictable in the best way. They're the friends who can fit into almost any social group because they read a room fast and adjust. Gray eyes. Gray is one of the rarest and most striking eye colors, often mistaken for a very pale blue. Folklore ties gray eyes to a calm exterior, hiding a sharp, analytical mind. Think, the quiet strategist in the group. Amber eyes. Amber eyes have a solid, golden, almost wolf-like glow. In folk psychology, amber-eyed people are described as confident, a little unconventional, and drawn to adventure over routine. Now, color is just the surface, and honestly, it's the least telling part. Because the real detail lovers in psychology and physiognomy In the old practice of reading personality from facial features, say shape gives away way more than color ever could. Stick around, because one shape on this list might be the most misread trait in this entire video. Almond-shaped eyes. Almond eyes are considered the most balanced and common shape, slightly pointed at both corners, with visible iris top and bottom. Folklore around facial reading calls almond-eyed people naturally confident and socially fluid. They tend to make easy eye contact, which people unconsciously read as openness and honesty. Round eyes. Round eyes show more white space around the iris, giving a naturally wide-eyed, alert look. People with round eyes are often described as expressive and emotionally transparent. What they feel tends to show on their face immediately, for better or worse. In folklore-based readings, round-eyed people are seen as warm, enthusiastic, and quick to trust. Hooded eyes. Hooded eyes have extra skin folding over the crease, which can make the eyelid less visible when eyes are open. Physiognomy traditions describe hooded-eyed people as deep thinkers, reserved, observant, and slow to reveal what they're really thinking. They notice everything, but they don't always say it out loud. Monolid eyes. Monolids common across East and Southeast Asian populations have a smooth lid with little to no visible crease. Folk readings associate monolid eyes with calm composure and quiet strength. People who stay level-headed under pressure and don't need external validation to feel secure in a decision. Downturned eyes. Downturned eyes slope slightly toward the outer corners, giving a soft, gentle expression even at rest. This shape gets linked to kindness and emotional sensitivity, folklore says. Downturned-eyed people are natural listeners, the ones friends go to first when they need comfort rather than advice. Upturned eyes. Upturned eyes slope upward at the outer corners. Think of the classic cat eye look. Popular belief ties this shape to ambition and playfulness, a mix of sharp focus and mischief. Upturned-eyed people are often described as magnetic, a little flirtatious, and quick-witted in conversation. Deep-set eyes. Deep-set eyes sit further back in the eye socket, often creating a more shadowed, intense look. Folklore calls deep-set-eyed people introspective and private thoughtful people who process things internally before ever showing their hand. Protruding eyes. Protruding, or prominent, eyes sit slightly more forward, giving a wide-open, highly expressive appearance. This shape is associated with enthusiasm and directness, people who say what they mean and wear their excitement openly. So that's shape and color. But here's the thing. None of that matters as much as what happens next. Because there's a third layer people rarely talk about, and it might be the most telling one of all: how you actually use your eyes. And one of these behaviors has real, hard science behind it, not folklore. Let's get into it. This part isn't folklore. It edges closer to real behavioral psychology, though it's still more art than hard science. Eye contact habits. People who hold steady eye contact are often perceived as confident and trustworthy, but psychologists note there's a sweet spot. Studies on gaze duration suggest holding eye contact for around 3 to 5 seconds before briefly looking away reads as most comfortable and genuine. Constant, unbroken eye contact can actually come across as intense or even unsettling, while frequently darting eyes can read as nervous or evasive, even if the person is simply shy, not dishonest. Blink rate. On average, people blink about 15 to 20 times a minute when you're deep in focus reading. Solving a problem, that rate drops. When you're anxious or under social pressure, it tends to spike. So, if someone's blinking rapidly in conversation, Folklore and pop psychology both suggest it might mean discomfort or heightened emotion, not necessarily dishonesty, despite the popular myth. Pupil dilation. This one actually has solid scientific backing. Pupils dilate involuntarily in response to interest, attraction, and arousal because the autonomic nervous system reacts before you consciously register a feeling. It's why some people say you can tell if someone's into you by their eyes. There's real biology behind that one, even if it's subtle and hard to consciously observe in daily life. Where people look when they think. You've probably heard the theory that looking up and to the left means someone's remembering something, and up and to the right means they're making something up. This is called neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP eye-accessing cues, and it's worth knowing it's been tested and largely debunked by actual researchers. Fun to think about, not reliable in practice. What does seem to hold up? People tend to look away from a conversation partner when thinking hard about a complex question. It's not deception, it's your brain reducing visual input so it can focus more processing power on the thought itself. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because most people don't fit one single category. You're not just brown eyes or just almond-shaped. It's really the combination of color, shape, and behavior that folklore says paints the fullest picture. So before you go, let's see if you match one of these 5 composite types. And chances are, one of them is going to hit uncomfortably close to home. Let's run through a few composite eye personalities for fun. 1. Dark brown, almond-shaped, steady gaze. Folklore's read, the natural leader, grounded, direct, hard to rattle. People trust this combination almost instinctively. 2. Blue, hooded, slow blinker. The strategist. Reserved on the outside, calculating on the inside. Takes time to open up, but once they do, they're deeply loyal. 3. Green, upturned, expressive gaze. The wild card. Creative, a little unpredictable, magnetic in social settings. The friend who makes plans exciting just by showing up. 4. Hazel, round, quick blinker. The empath. Highly attuned to other people's emotions, sometimes to their own detriment. Needs quiet time to recharge after socializing. 5. Gray, deep-set, minimal, eye contact. The observer. Quiet, sharp, and usually 3 steps ahead in any conversation. They just don't always say so. So what did you find? Drop your eye color and shape in the comments and tell us if the read felt accurate, way off, or somewhere in between. And remember, this is a fun mirror to hold up to yourself, not a verdict. Your personality is built by your choices, your experiences, and your relationships, not the color of your iris. But it's a nice reminder that even the smallest details about us can spark a bigger conversation about who we are. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe for more videos exploring the science and folklore behind what makes us, us. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.